Sleeves here. Going to give some reflections and lessons learned on my overnight hike to Panther Creek Falls in the Cohutta Wilderness. I'm going to put those thoughts into three buckets: decisions, electronics, and preparations. One of the first decisions I made when I made it to my campsite was whether to build a fire first or put up my shelter. The temperature was around 32 degrees. I had been in water all day. I was wet. Well, I made the decision to put up my shelter first. I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to get a fire started since everything was soaking wet. I knew if I could get my shelter up, I'd have the ability to stay warm. By the time I started working on my fire, I was really cold. I had taken off my gloves and my hands were really numb. I was having difficulty processing the wood, and I was really questioning my decision on starting with a shelter. But I was able to get the fire started, and I warmed up nicely, and it turned out to be a good decision. My decision might not be the right decision for you. Know your abilities and know your location. In the Northwest or Northeast US, that might not be the right decision. So know what you need to do for your location. Another decision I made that didn't turn out so well was not to dry my shoes next to the fire before I went to sleep. The next morning when I woke up after a night of temperatures in the low 20s, my shoes were frozen solid. Of course, I chose not to open them up. I just left them alone, and so they were rather tight. I could not get my foot in them the next morning. Tip I learned from Evan's backpacking videos. He told me to make sure I opened my shoes up and leave them open during the night, and that way when they freeze, at least you can get your feet into them. Good tip. Let me talk a little bit about electronics now. Cold temperature plays havoc on your electronics. On a summer hike, I usually carry 3 extra batteries with me for my camera. And on this winter hike, I was lucky if I got 50% of the capacity out of those batteries, which means I needed some way to keep those batteries charged. Another issue I had was my phone. During the night, my phone totally stopped working. I chose to place the phone in a mesh storage bag on my ridgeline as opposed to keeping it in my sleeping bag, which was a mistake. Again, I need some way to keep that battery charged. This is how I keep my batteries charged. It's an Astro external battery charger from Anker. Has 6,400 milliamp hours. It will charge an iPhone 2 times, a camera 2 times, and a Galaxy S6 1.5 times. The new ones out are 6,700 milliamp hours. I've had this one for quite some time and it works well. It has a Power IQ, which is an intelligent charge. It senses the needs of your device and will deliver up to a 2-ounce max. It weighs 4.8 ounces and the cost is around $60, but you can find it on sale all the time for around $20. The cables there are 4-inch USB with a micro connector, and I've added a couple of adapters there, one to fit my phone, one for my camera. I chose to go this route instead of carrying the full size cable. You can get these from Walmart very inexpensively. Now I'll mention preparation. Preparation is not optional when hiking in a wilderness setting. You need to know where you're going, know the weather conditions, and most important, know yourself. For example, for me, my hands get really cold. I have to take care of my hands. No problem with my feet. That's why I walk in the water, doesn't bother me, but my hands really get cold. That's why I need good gloves to ensure my hands stay warm. The wilderness is an unforgiving area, so be prepared. For me, I enjoy hiking with not a lot of bulk on me. I don't like to wear heavy gear. I dress in layers, and that works for me. One of the things that works for me is the base layer. This is my base layer. This is how I stay warm during winter hikes. I couldn't do without these. This is a base layer from Arc'teryx. It's a Phase SV. The SV stands for severe weather. It's definitely for cold weather. It's breathable. It's moisture wicking. Hydrophobic. Doesn't absorb water. I don't have to worry about getting cold. The fit is a next to skin fit. They wick away moisture when you're sweating. The dry times are unbelievable. If you get wet, they're going to dry almost immediately. They only weigh 5 ounces. That's for the shirt, and then 5 ounces for the pants. They're a little pricey. They're in the $70 range, but I'll tell you, I saved my money, and it was definitely worth the price I paid for these. I've been on several winter hikes and kept me warm the entire time. It's the perfect base layer for winter hiking. So make wise decisions, take care of your electronics, and above all, be prepared. Till next time, keep hiking.